Your favorite radio station.
This is Afro Vibes Radio Houston.
This is a Total Medulla production.
Too many MCs, not enough mics, not enough mics.
So disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer. Doesn't have my political science degree.
Having different perspectives and outlooks is key to growth. I'm Jarman.
I don't claim to know everything. I just claim to know where to look. I'm Stephen Hawkins.
I just slid right in. It's no big deal. I'm Kyle Lee. Devontae called me up on short notice.
Coming to you from the Afro Vibes Radio Houston studios, Total Medulla Entertainment presents Medulla Talk with your hosts, Devontae Hill and Stephen Hawkins. Salutations all and welcome to Medulla Talk. I'm your host, Devontae Hill. Let's get this thing started. It's another week. We survived. Sometimes I don't feel like we do, but we do.
Another day, another dollar, boy. What?
Oh, man, this show is always a struggle.
I'm extra gangster today, so, pardon me, guys.
If you are listening on the Afro Vibes Radio Houston app on Thursdays, welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, how you guys doing? Along with all the other places like SoundCloud. Where do you guys listen? Actually, send some emails out and tell us exactly how you're listening to our show. That would actually help us out. All right, so today's topic, we're going to be talking about social capital. I am here with none other than the Stephen Hawkins.
Salutations all.
Stephen, where you been? We missed you.
I've been working, so my 9 to 5
I
had me flying around the country and stuff, and so I'm back. That's what matters. Denver's amazing. Please go there, visit. It's wonderful. Black people really do like the cold, despite popular belief. So, the wilderness is fun. Go there. Just stay safe.
Yeah, because when you're running from the heat, you got to find some snow.
Boy, it felt good up there. That's good.
Kyle, you here again? Hey, what's up, man?
Yes, I found my way back. It's nice to be back.
So I noticed the iPad is not directly underneath you. Did you break it?
Oh, no, I didn't break it. They didn't want that weapon of mass destruction in my hand, so they took it from me.
Mohammed, welcome back, man. I see you're trying to steal my style. That's I don't know how I feel about that.
No, this is what I have to wear for the job. Yeah.
I feel so underdressed now. Like with you two.
He's like negative Devontae.
Yeah.
It's for the ladies out there. That's all. It's for the ladies out there. No, we're going to have a great show today. We want to answer two big questions when it comes to social capital. But before I get into that, Mohammed, you actually helped with the whole idea of this episode today. We had this random conversation about just, interacting with folks and phone calls and all that other things. And that just kind of brought this idea of, what are we doing with our society and how is social media kind of shaping those two things? So the two big questions that we want to answer is, what is the landscape of social media right now? And just kind of just talk about it in a real honest way, similar to what we did with an honest talk with social media way back.
Oh, back in the proto season. Season 0.
Yeah, right. What was that, like 87, 88?
It's the spring of 1974, I believe.
Yeah, we're going to have some callbacks from that episode. But another question we want to do is, should we change our relationship with social media? And so, but let's first get into the landscape one. So, tell me about self-branding. That tends to be a thing now, like where you basically present this image of yourself, or at least what you want people to think that you are.
Like a product?
Almost.
Well, you're the product.
Like Tide.
No, like Stephen Hawkins.
Stephen Hawkins.
Like, look at me and my voice.
Look at me.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Basically,
really bad.
You make yourself very appealing to people so they can give you attention and possibly money.
Ooh, and likes?
Yeah.
Oh, so many likes.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
yeah.
One day likes will be currency and money won't exist anymore. But first, before we get too deep into it, Jarman, how do you feel about social media?
You know what?
Thank you for
Hi, I'm your host, Kyle Lee.
Hey,
15 minutes into the show. I was waiting.
But you have to appreciate his resilience. He was just like,
he was waiting. He was like, yo, guys,
I'm gonna stay quiet.
I was looking at my watch, like tapping my toe. Let's see here.
I commend your patience, Gerald, because you could have like interjected at any moment there.
No. I was gonna wait for you. I was gonna just wait to the end of the show and
so
just interject then.
There's so many things. Sorry, Gerald. Gerald Jarman is on the show, fine. Everyone. Gerald Jarman.
Okay. Could you ask the question again?
That was a pity applause. I want you to know that.
I get this all the time.
It was.
Yes.
So
it's called a Steven special.
So could you go ahead and ask your question again, because we got derailed here with nonsense.
All right. So this new world of self-branding, right? Are people actually the folks that you see on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram? Like, are we actually seeing real people? Or are we seeing some type of like
surrogate,
edited version?
We're seeing like the best versions of that person that they want to see. We're seeing like a prepared version of that person.
We're not seeing
considering
some of these people on social media.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're seeing people that like, will take 15 pictures, like 15 selfies of themselves and try to like select the best one so they can look like they're like a perfect, person. We have people that go on trips that spend thousands of dollars to put themselves in debt to make it look like they're on top and mobile. And we have a kind of an epidemic of like narcissism, I think, due to social media.
Yeah, speaking on that, Gerald, there's an old saying that says "fake it till you make it," and even I'm guilty of this. Like if you go to my Facebook page, I look like some hotshot radio host who's like making bank.
He looks like a person trying to be a.
He looks so happy, but deep down inside, there's nothing but darkness.
I'm an extremely miserable person. But no, a lot of people are. I would say a lot of people are practicing that. This whole "fake it till you make it"ness. Well, so if everyone's faking it till they're making it, then
who's telling the truth?
Yeah.
No one.
Do you even have kids, Kyle?
Ooh, you don't put your girl, you don't put your kids all on your social media.
If you follow the right people, you can get in their pictures.
How old are you kids, Kyle?
5 and 1.
Wow.
So
that's a Tinder age.
That's
that Tinder age?
Yeah, that's where like it's things
not
are real.
Not the dating app. No.
I thought you said Tinder age. I was like, not
the dating app.
Devontae, maybe you're not showing your real self on social media.
He's
not
like,
the Tinder
he's trying
dating
to
app.
Weinstein the podcast. No. Basically, it's as a common person with a family and with marriage and regular job, it's easy for you to just post your regular day and it not be very interesting because everyone else is trying to avoid posting their regular days. That's why we have Snapchat filters. That's why we have all of these new emojis. We have all these things that make our posts and our lifestyle so glamorous when really it's just normal things.
Bitmoji.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of posting a real picture of yourself, we post a cuter version,
a cartoon version of ourselves twerking or lifting weights or eating.
Yeah, I know. Gerald mentioned selfies earlier. How did that start?
Oh, they've been doing selfies ever since the Polaroid. Matter of fact, I remember we used to take selfies on the disposable cameras and then having to take them to CVS or Walgreens, get them developed, and be like, "What the hell was I doing with taking this picture?" Because you don't know what it looks like until it gets developed. So. It's been around forever. It's just that now, with it being so easy and simple, and there's selfie sticks and there's Snapchat filters and all these different things, it's more common now.
What are people trying to say with their selfies?
Look at me.
That was straight to the point.
yeah, that was straight to the point. But it is that's all you can read from a selfie, right?
Yeah.
I mean. I like to think that there's, people say a picture says 1,000 words. Like, surely it's saying something more than just, hey, look at me.
Okay, fine. Look at me right here, right now, this time, on this date, in this location, hashtag this, hashtag that. It's not just simple photos. It's now me as I do all these new things and go on these different adventures.
Actually, you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Because back then, selfies was us all take the picture. I got to set the camera up. All right, everybody get close, and the dad quickly tries to run and get into the family photo with everyone else. Now it's like, true. You push the button. You know you got 10 seconds. You casually walk over. You forget that you dropped your keys. You go pick your keys back up. You walk over. You're in the picture. Like back then, it was a hunt.
I mean,
you had to do everything you can to make sure that selfie worked.
You think if you think of like family.
I mean, like you had like Polaroids, like you had like instant like Polaroids.
That was it.
Remember those?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you had to like shake them, like.
Yeah. I had one of those when I was a kid.
But guess what? After you took that picture, where did that picture go? It went
on my refrigerator. That's where it went.
Or your which was your wall back then.
Oh, yeah.
Or you had your photo albums. Or you had your wallet sizes.
You trying to say that we've been like slowly breeding ourselves to have Facebook walls?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Because all they do is
Oh
make
God, that's
everything-
actually.
they make everything digital.
Sounds incredibly astute.
Like back then, photo albums were on your bookshelf. Nowadays, photo albums is on your Facebook.
Yeah.
That's
let's,
true.
Yeah, let's quickly look at Facebook, right? There's a writer, an economist, who was talking about Facebook, but essentially what that writer said is, Facebook is where you post about your achievements to a large circle of acquaintances, which is so true, right? The friends that you have on Facebook, it's a polished version you're presenting yourself to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you're scrolling through someone's profile or through your wall, and you see this achievement that they have, or like, hey, I graduated college, or
I have a baby.
Yeah.
Look at me with this celebrity. Which is so common because sometimes the people don't even know they're in the picture.
Yeah.
Like selfies have become so self-important that the other people in the selfie don't know they're there.
Well, you just mentioned something that was really interesting. So I have a personal rule of mine, where I don't actually take pictures with celebrities. And I've met a lot of celebrities, especially when I was working at the TV station.
Is there a reason why you have that? Is there a reason why you have that rule? Like, is this
I've
a
met
past
a lot
history?
of celebrities.
Well,
now I can't prove it, but I did.
Humble
but
brag.
the main reason why is because what am I trying to say if I post a picture like that? Like, oh, I met Damon Wayans. Am I bragging about that? Am I what am I doing with it?
You met Damon Wayans and you didn't post a picture of that on social media?
Absolutely not.
Dude, that guy's dope.
He is, and I had a really good conversation with him.
Dude.
Yeah, it's.
But again, I valued the conversation.
I can tell you this: posting a picture and keeping a picture are two different things. So you taking a picture with Damon Wayans and keeping it in your phone or printing it and putting it in your photo album, that's your memory. That's your memory to keep. That's something for you. You posting on social media is more for everyone else, including yourself.
What if you like dump it in an album just on social media? Like you don't call any attention to it or anything like that.
But every time you post a picture, it's going to have a notification.
Yeah.
It's going to go to the
There are
timeline.
ways around that. Yeah. I know that for a fact. You can post things without having it to be notified because there's ways how you can select who sees it. It doesn't have to be public. It can just be on your account and people can discover it later on. But most people, of course, want everything public.
Is it wrong to share stuff like that? Like, I think it's cool that you met Damian Wayans.
Yeah, but like to me, it also goes back to how I treat people, right? And I was able to actually talk to him like a regular person because I treated him like a regular person. So I didn't go up to him and be like, "Oh my God, it's Damon Wayans. Let me take a picture."
Yeah.
I didn't come at him like a fan. I was like, "Hey, what did you think about blah blah blah?" And then we just started talking.
That's because you're working. Like that's work for you. So you probably wasn't sitting there thinking like, "Oh, I gotta hurry and get a picture with this guy because as soon as I'm working, I can't do it." But as soon as that camera cuts off, but I think that a lot of people actually do use social media to help their careers because they're taking that picture with Damon Wayans shows that, hey, look at me, Total Medulla is meeting,
it's expanding outward.
And that, believe it or not, is as shameful as some people think it is, like shameful plugging advertising. It benefits you in a lot of ways.
So that goes back into the self-branding thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I think stuff like that, like when a normal person, everyday person, just meets a celebrity or something like that, I think that's okay. But I think there has to be a reason behind it.
It's the intention. It's the intention, right?
The intention is everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, he was at the station. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of you saying, "Oh, hey, guess who was washing clothes today?" This guy, I found him.
You know, I'm gonna post me washing clothes one day just for you, Kyle.
Okay. You can. Well, no, I meant like a celebrity. Like, let's say you went down to Whole Foods and you saw like, I don't know, like James Harden or something like that.
How about Eartha Kitt?
Okay, Eartha Kitt.
I don't know why. I just like her name.
Yeah, you like. Yeah, she was Catwoman one time. So maybe
Wait, is she dead?
Nope.
Okay. Ooh.
She's still alive. Anyway, Devontae.
All right, so Muhammad had a really interesting point about commodifying ourselves. What did you mean by that?
I'm actually trying to go back to that conversation yesterday. What was the context?
So we were talking about the whole selfie thing, right?
Yeah.
And there has been a movement to where we're all kind of content creators in a way, right? We're constantly producing content for a larger audience, whether it be Facebook, Instagram. And so we're documenting all these things in our lives that would entertain or inform other folks. So almost we're a commodity in a way. Like we're a product.
We're merchandise.
Yeah, and we're basically, giving ourselves off to
Selling ourselves.
Yeah.
What are we getting in return for the sales?
Likes.
Depends.
Yeah,
Likes are currency
yeah.
nowadays.
It also depends who you're selling to, because
Honestly, we're just getting gratification. That's what we're getting, like the instant gratification, a little bit of a dopamine hit.
Yeah, I was just
Like
about to say
this-
that. Give me that dope.
Like that sense of like self, like I did something today without
Ooh,
really having
smiley
done
faces
anything.
and thumbs ups and likes. Like, yes, this makes me feel good. I'm broke as
Exactly.
hell, but look at all these likes I got.
Yeah.
Parking lot
Uh,
pimping.
Confession. So I'm a part of this group on Facebook called The Extraordinary Journey of the Black Nerd.
Same.
And
God, that is so right up your alley too.
every time I post something, they have posts and stuff like that, and I offer my opinion, and then people like it and comment and say, "Oh man, I totally agree. That's so true." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like,
No.
So yeah, essentially like what Steven said.
I
is-
knew I
is
was smart.
interesting.
"Thank you."
It's reinforces your confidence, right?
Yes,
It's
yes,
a
it
boost. It's interesting because like as a society we're moving towards, seeing likes as corresponding to popularity. But now I remember what we were talking about, right?
Perfect.
Great.
It's it's instant.
Convenient.
It's an instant like, right? So that like during that moment they see a video or they read a post or they see a picture. They like it initially, but long-term wise, how standing or how much of an impact would that
Right.
have moving forward?
Well, that's the thing. They don't. That's why you take more pictures.
Yeah. What does a like actually mean?
yeah.
It's affirmation from your peers.
Whoa. Hey guys, don't underestimate the likes. So think about how many things you look at every day that you're like, huh, or that makes you laugh, and you don't do anything. You don't do anything like that.
But that's a fleeting moment, though.
No,
Even when they do like.
No, what I'm saying is that there's so many things that you pass by online that you found interesting or that you would have given a like, but you already scrolled past it. It's whatever. But someone actually took the time out of their busy scrolling on the toilet to actually supply some affirmation to you.
A half a second.
Half a second.
Yeah, half a
It-
second.
on the toilet.
That's all you're gonna get from them.
depends.
That's like,
It
hey, you want more than that? No,
You
forget
got
that.
their attention between their Netflix and their chilling and the variety of other things in their lives that they're posting about. They took the time to like something that you put up. If anything, that is the greatest gift that one person could give to another.
A like?
A
Is
like?
A like is affirmation, reaffirming
But
their
Steven, that's a
confidence.
fleeting moment, right?
Why do I picture like Steven after he gets like a like, his girlfriend's like, "You want to make love?" He's like, "No, I'm good. I got what I came for today.
Hey.
Good night."
I'm feeling really good right now.
I'm actually
I don't want to
satisfied.
push my luck. This night can't get any better.
But I realize how vapid it sounds, but if you really think about at the fast moving culture that we live in, and everything's moving, bam, 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 bam. Someone actually take our videos for instance. Someone actually watching our videos and liking it, or worse, commenting on it.
Bro,
Like,
a comment goes
comment is
far.
more valuable.
Because I feel like a
more
comment,
time and energy. is
yeah,
put
Exactly.
into it.
Not only that, but
Yeah.
you have to think, because when you're liking something, it's easy to just like. It's
Move on.
different for you to hold in heart or laugh or wow. But when you make a comment, that's your brain functioning and coming up with a statement, a question, or a reply to the video or post that you've posted. So that adds a lot more to it. And then when that comment has another comment thread below it, and then more comments, and then someone shares it, and then you're like, wow, I got 16, I got 20, I got 30 comments.
Yeah.
And none of them are, unfortunately, because of social media, most comments now aren't even about the actual subject.
Yeah.
First,
Or
second, gay.
you get those
blah, blah,
moments.
blah. It's that stuff.
That's true. You get those moments where people will comment and they would not actually read
Yes.
what you said or gone
Yes.
to the article that you posted.
They're just
Trolling,
reacting to what
yeah,
someone
yeah.
Right.
trolls.
Bah, 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 bah. You know,
Trolling.
Obama had the same issue. This video is about puppies. Why are you talking about it?
We ran into that like on our interracial dating versus black love episode.
Yeah.
Like I had some random dude comment and he's just like, I love my sisters. I don't know about y'all. I was like, did you listen to the episode?
Black girl.
I think
those
Very
geared more towards
aggressive black
Steven.
woman. What's she?
My girlfriend is both black and white.
See? He's playing both sides of the race. Literally.
Gerald, you were about to say something?
She's not.
I didn't say anything.
Oh.
Anyway,
Well, that was your
she's not
chance.
just
Anyway.
white.
That
She's
was his
part
moment.
Swedish.
Like, I would.
What do you guys feel about memes and inspirational quotes?
I love memes. I hate inspirational quotes. I'll tell you why. Because it's easy for anyone to open up the Bible and say, that sounds good. Post.
It's not just the Bible. Like some people will post random things where like Thomas Jefferson said or something like that. Though not as often. I agree.
Okay. So anyway, Stephen, when they use things like that as methods to kind of like, see, I know what I'm talking about. I'm right. And I'm share it. It's like, it's better. There's nothing wrong with you sharing someone else's comment, opinion, or view. But I feel like it's stronger when you have your own opinion, comment, or view.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put some girl on blast right now, and hopefully she doesn't kill me. But I have good reason to say this.
Say
So
that.
this sounds like someone personal. I don't know if you should do that.
Rest in peace,
Yeah,
Devon.
that's
This is not the relationship episode yet.
So-
Dan.
No, but
On the season finale of Total Medulla.
all right. So there's this girl who will remain nameless, and she'll probably blow me up after this episode's over.
She hot?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
At least you got the compliment out the way. Go ahead.
I'm instantly more interested in her
Oh,
stand.
I'll show you a picture later.
Oh, wow.
No, okay. So she, for some reason, loves to post these black love and relationship goals and relationship related inspirational quotes.
Ooh.
And I'm just like, I don't know what she's trying to do.
She's trying
with
to send
these
some
things?
messages.
Yeah, I'm an independent woman.
I'm a
I'm not
black
going to deal with no
queen.
scrubs, blah, 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 blah.
I'm just a queen looking for my king.
And I'm just like, are you done? Do you have other things you want to talk about and other things you want to say? Is there anything else on your mind?
Yeah, that's all they post.
That's
yes.
all she posts.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
that's the thing. They'll post that stuff until they get in a relationship, and then they'll post that, hey, I'm in a relationship with this person, and then if things go bad, oh man, sometimes you got to go down to come back up and relate. It's like
Rise from the ashes like I'm
Yeah.
a phoenix.
Yeah, you're like, wow, that escalated real quick. So some people, I mean, they speak in their posts. They cry out loud. So
It's cathartic. It's cathartic.
I mean, it's one of the many tools of social media is that you can easily say things without saying exactly what you mean, what you feel. You can show a picture, and people can see that picture and be like, "Oh, that picture, it means something."
Mm-hmm.
I get tired of passive aggressiveness on social media though.
I tell
My
you,
main issue, my main issue with the whole, I'm gonna post a quote or whatever, like a meme, is it's basically it's performative. You're just making the statement I'm this really original and deep person, and you're really not adding anything to the conversation. There's no analysis.
I gotta disagree on one. Wait, there's a difference when it comes to memes.
Like nothing's happening. You're basically just putting on a front that you're an intelligent person without really being an intelligent person, in my opinion.
Gerald, get out of my brain.
Because some memes, if you post them at the right time with the right picture, they are amazing. I cannot tell you how many Jordan sad faces I've seen.
Oh yeah, like stuff like that. It's comedic, you know what I'm saying? But like, if you're like, if here's this verse, 1 like equals 1 prayer, you know, that's not really.
Oh, that's trolling. That's not. That's different.
Now speaking on that,
trolling.
This trolling phenomenon.
Be like a sick baby and be like if you want it to heal. If you skip, it'll die. Damn it!
You see that one where the girl has like a piece of ham on her face?
No, it was a dog. They put ham on a dog.
Please bless this dog. Blah 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 blah.
They thought the dog got burned. This is a piece of ham on a dog.
Like if you think she's beautiful or whatever, and I'm just kind of like, it's a piece of freaking ham.
It's a skeleton.
Okay, you know what I do have to mention though? I do have to mention the Caitlyn Jenner situation.
Oh Lord!
Because a lot of people posted a picture of him, her.
Come
her.
on now.
Okay,
don't be that way.
Hey.
Wait,
I know how you feel, but
but anyway, so people. Here's the thing. What I had a problem with was when people were asking me, "Doesn't she look amazing?"
So what do you think? Isn't she beautiful?
And I'm just like, she does not.
I'm sorry.
Like
I'm sorry, guys. I don't. No, I have to be real sometimes.
It's okay because there's some actual women that don't look good to me. So
yeah. No, there's
wait,
some
did you
trans.
just say actual women?
Oh wow, I did say that. I mean, there are some born women that are. Is it binary? Is that the phrase?
Or
is it not?
2 X chromosomes. There we go.
There we go.
Booyah.
That I
There's
don't
some 2
find
X chromosomes out
attractive,
there.
Call you double X and call you XY. In a rare case, it's XYY. Or Y squared.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Devontae? I feel like we kind of ran that
got
one.
me on, dude. What was I even talking about,
You
man?
were talking about the Caitlyn Jenner thing, how people were asking you, how does she look?
Oh, okay. So then I was just like, hey, no. And then people thought that I was trolling. Like, you're a hater. You're a this and a that simply because I didn't go with the majority, which was saying that this person was amazing. I was like,
you know what's funny though? There are actually a lot of people who get the operation that actually look.
Yeah.
Like for instance, Cher's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When she got her operation, became Chaz. When he became he. Cher's daughter.
Cher.
Oh.
You know Cher.
No. I didn't hear what he said.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I've seen him on American Horror Story, and I did not know that was him because he has a beard and he has this physique, and you're like, oh wow. I mean, I forgot the lady's name from Orange Is the New Black, the black woman, but I honestly didn't know until someone told me.
There's some of them that the plastic surgery is on point.
I sensed something was amiss.
I did,
to be real with
but I
you.
didn't want to like jump on it. Like it's but it's like
that's a different topic.
Yeah.
For a
But it's
different day.
weird how, if you have a difference of opinion to the common, I guess, thread that is viewed as trolling.
Don't you think what this celebrity said was wrong? Hey, that's what did you expect? It's kind of like when they interviewed the guy from Chick-fil-A and asked him how he felt about gay marriage.
I know, right?
And he was like, "Oh, I don't approve of." It's like, what do you expect? You go to a Christian. You can't go to people who have these broad views on their social medias and their Facebook pages and say, "Well, look, you need to change your views because the times have changed." It's like, no, they can keep their opinions because that's who they are.
They're gonna go with the repercussions of their opinions, but
and that's fine. You have to accept it.
And that brings up another point: is people not standing with their word. I mean, social media allows you to create a different identity.
Think about all the tweets that get deleted.
Yeah.
think how much editing I do when I'm on social media, because I don't spell all that well. Whenever I'm just like randomly just typing something out.
So are you the guy with the separate tab on Google, or like you swipe over to your Google search and like tap a word in and be like, okay, that's it. Yeah.
When I was a kid, yes, but not as an adult.
Oh,
I don't have to do that much anymore.
Oh, excuse me.
There's also autocorrect.
I know. I don't know all the right words, but I know where to look for the right stuff.
You know what, Kyle? That's
deserves
actually,
it.
All he did was just repeat what I said in the promo.
but that's a good callback.
Yeah, that's a great callback. Yeah.
Just repeat some of the stuff I say. You'll be all right.
If I can remember, dang.
But yeah, you can create this different identity, and you don't have to stand by some of your stuff. You can put a mask on and virtually say whatever you want. You wouldn't even say those things in person.
Trevor Noah.
Yeah, of course not.
When he first got his job with what was it? The
Daily Show?
Daily Show.
Yeah.
He went back and had to delete a bunch of tweets and stuff like that.
Just like,
They were and it's not even just him. Like I like to pick on him. I actually really like him. But anyway, especially his comedy from back in the day. But yeah, whenever someone says like, take when people used to say FAGGOT. They used to use that a lot.
Yeah, spelling it out is so much more.
Well, I'm trying not to be that guy right now. I'm trying to
Yeah,
chill.
that's already Gerald's role.
Back when
He's
they used
the one that.
Back when they just used to use, just any word for homosexuality as a pejorative.
Well, back then that word just meant you were weak. It didn't necessarily.
That was
mean you were
true.
gay.
It did mean you were
like when
weak.
someone would say it, like, "Oh, you can't lift it up, you f."
Yeah, exactly.
But
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's things like that. Like, as time moves on and as certain things come to a head, like you can't really be surprised when people go back and just kind of like, oh no, I need to get rid of that, because if I don't, someone's gonna dig it up and go, oh yeah, you're a monster. I hate you. You
Back
did
in
one thing
2005, you said that blah 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 was
dare
blah.
you
Remember when
stand-
you were 13 and
Yeah.
you said this? That's what I'm afraid
How
of.
dare you stand next to Ellen knowing those things you said back in 1985? Like, what the hell?
So like with one thing about social media, everything's recorded, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Anything you type now is going to be recorded on the web. Going back to your point about how people, they put a front on, right? When they're sitting behind a screen, they're willing to engage in a Facebook battle, right? Especially if it's a difference of opinions.
Oh, I'd
they're
be
willing
ready
to troll.
sometimes.
Yeah. But if it's face to face, if it's a personal interaction, they're less likely, less likely. Yeah.
So, Game of Thrones, you like that show, right? Yeah, come on, let's be friends. But over social media, it's
Please don't
like,
come from me.
hey, you bad, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You're stupid, you're idiot, blah, blah. Like, I remember when online gaming was big. Like, everyone's playing online gaming, you had your headsets, and then you would
It's
hear.
still big. What are you
So,
talking about?
I know, but like, when it first got introduced.
Like in our
and-
age group.
Yes, in
Yeah,
our age
yeah,
groups. And the amount of racial slurs you would hear from people and all
yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
And then you rarely had moments where people actually would come face to face with another person, and that talking would diminish immediately, because it's easy to stand behind your keyboard and type and say all these things, but as soon as you're having an actual interaction with another person, which we can talk about later, how it may be diminishing our interactions with people, we don't know how to talk to them, because we no longer have that keyboard guardian angel.
Are we the fake though? Like,
Who?
think up to yourself. Like, that person felt angry in that moment and then called somebody out as something, this and that, and the third. Is it social mores that keep us from being our real selves in real life? And with all the nastiness that we like to say, or like how we like to push people and stuff like that, because bullying didn't disappear. People's anger towards each other didn't disappear.
Right.
We just have like this facade of friendship that we have to keep in like public and things like that. But when we, get behind a keyboard, we become keyboard warriors, and we can say all the just messed up, mainstream things that we wanted to say.
Because there's no consequences.
Exactly.
Like, a consequence of some random dude going up to a black guy and calling him the N-word is a punch in the face.
Yeah.
But you don't get punched in the face online.
Exactly.
No, instead, you get your social media shared with your job, and now your job knows that you said this, and now you have the possibility of getting fired, which is way better than a punch in the face, I might add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's recent, though.
Yeah.
That's
It's recent. You're absolutely right, because back then you could get away with all kinds of just venom, and nowadays you do have to watch what you say, even though a lot of people don't.
Now, do we overvalue other people's opinions?
Yes,
We can, absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah. I would say so.
Especially the people in our immediate vicinity.
Which I think is okay. I'd rather hold your opinions higher than a person on the other side of the country.
Yeah, that you don't know.
Because I feel like I see you guys more often, or I see my family more often than that person who's I'll never meet in my life. Right. So it depends on who the person is, but I feel like you needing just general wealth of admiration from all these strangers is not that important.
I think it's important for humans to value other opinions, right? Going back to what Steven was saying, right? The social mores, how we are in person is a lot different when we're sitting behind a screen. I think that's necessary. We have to act a certain way. We have to be civil, essentially.
Like rules of engagement.
But how come we can't carry that same amount of respect that we distribute in person online?
Or that same amount of venom, because I feel like there's people who are angry behind the keyboard when they get in front of people.
Yeah,
they lose
the two-facedness.
And you're like, well, all that stuff you was saying on Facebook, oh no, that was just,
that wasn't just nothing. No, you said some things.
I want you to still be angry like you were beforehand.
Yeah.
Telling you, man, like there's something about the social mores that we have to adhere to that while it is a benefit to society and pushes it forward, there's a part of it that separates us from our actual selves and what we think, the contrarian views that we have about a lot of things. And I think that that's why social media is kind of good, because it allows us to air that out in like a form where you can't just overpower anybody. Like you just speak, and then the majority either agrees or disagrees, and you just kind of go from there. So I think that that's kind of constructive.
You're right, because there's no way to really ignore a person unless you push the ignore button. Because think about it, when you post a comment or you post a post and someone comments, you can't help but see it because you get a notification saying, hey, this person commented. So anytime there's an argument, there's no saying, oh, I don't remember that, I didn't hear that. It's right there in print.
Interesting.
I'm sure you read it because you replied to it. So there's no getting around certain conversations now.
I can see that.
I mean,
that's a benefit. Well, that's a serious benefit.
Now speaking on these conversations, are they well thought out conversations? Because, I mean, Twitter only allows you, at this point of the recording of this episode, 140 characters, right?
But you can end it and do another 140, so it won't stop you from continuing posts.
So like a series of tweets.
People tell stories now in Twitter form.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I've seen some good stuff on there. You seen that lion one?
No.
When they told the story of that lion and it's like ex-wife and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they use memes and pictures.
Boy, that was funny.
So it's possible that I don't really think that changes too many things. There's not really a limitation. There's always a way for you to get your full message out. People are just always more focused on if that message is getting received.
It's a platform for people to air their views, right? And I am a firm believer that everyone should have a platform, right? But one thing that social media...
I'm going to have to disagree on that.
Everybody but one person.
I'm going to have to disagree on that one.
But with that, when everyone does have a platform, it does create a lot of chatter.
Noise.
Right? A lot of
noise.
Yeah.
The biggest reason why I don't believe that everyone should have a platform is because people don't take the time to truly formulate their thoughts and opinions. They will see one thing and be like, you know what, that's bad, within 5 minutes without really diving into what it is they're talking about.
Oh, there's people who won't click on articles and they'll just read the headline.
Yeah.
And make a decision.
And those folks don't need a voice. Like that's, if you're gonna be that lazy and on top of that, be that tenacious to get other folks to believe you. I mean, that's not good.
I can't tell you how many fake deaths I've seen. Like, oh, can you believe Morgan Freeman died today? He died last week. He died the week before that.
I heard Kelly Clarkson died.
Who are you getting these posts from? And people aren't clicking and reading and doing research. They're just
y'all gonna mess around and get us all the Mandela effect.
But fake news. Fake news.
Said the F word.
It is.
It's a thing.
You want to say something, Mohammed?
I was just gonna have a rebuttal to Devontae's point, but so like the reason why I believe everyone should have a platform is essentially ties into the right to free speech, right? The logic in that constitutional right is the marketplace of ideas, right? Now there's been cases where people have said like, oh, what happens if people are saying false information? The logic is that any information in this marketplace will be, of course, tested by the public. And if whichever information is discussed by the public at a longer time than other information, that will win out at the end.
Unfortunately, the public is not very good at filtering that information.
That's true. That's
so, I mean, on that theory, and that's already been broken with the election. There's so many people who ran with fake news articles thinking that certain things were true that were false and did not take the time to really research those things.
And now
I don't put that much credit in the public.
Yeah.
Well, just because the public runs on anecdotal evidence.
Yeah.
There's obviously there's two different types of evidence. There is like the scientific, broad evidence where someone's done a sample size, and then what people see in their everyday lives. And we should ask ourselves is if the scientific evidence is just, or data gathering is just a conglomerate of anecdotal kind of observances, then at what point do we kind of find a way to properly weight those? Because I'm going to always see my world. I'm going to always see that guy begging on the corner. I'm going to always see this, that, and the third. And the question is what narrative we kind of establish on top of that.
And I think that's what makes social media so strong, is because you'll find people who see the same things you'll say, who will agree with you, and who will back you up when you make certain comments. So if you say, I'm sick of seeing all of this poverty in my neighborhood, there'll probably be another person in the neighborhood who say, yeah, me too. Another person like, yeah. And next thing you know, there's a group of individuals that don't like the poverty in their neighborhood that have an ability to make change.
And that's the positive aspects of social media right
One
there.
of the very few.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Hurricane Harvey was a really great example, right?
Yeah.
The response time of saving folks was tremendous. We talked about that in the Hurricane Harvey episode. A lot of it was through Facebook.
It's true.
Not to mention,
there
it
are a
was
variety
just
of apps.
it was just personal stories you got to see.
Yeah.
It was people in their homes in a very vulnerable moment finding ways to make light of situations, or finding ways to show that, hey, there was the shelter here, or hey, we're going to help people. It was ways to get out information that was useful. You did not see too many hey, this is just very few posts that weren't positive or weren't informative or weren't helpful. And that's a rare moment.
That is true. I didn't see a bunch of trolling on social media during that natural disaster. I'll tell you that much.
It was
I was very
be
surprised.
safe, watch out for this, or go here.
Yeah.
Another great example is the Arab Spring.
Yeah.
In Egypt.
Okay.
A lot of it was the organizational parts of that was on Facebook and was on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to really create a movement. Unfortunately, some other things happened after that, but the whole start of it was positively influenced by social media.
Exactly.
Black Lives Matter.
I was just about to say, there was one point, if I'm not mistaken, last year or the year before that, it got to the point where maybe every week, probably every couple of days, I had to see another person get shot. I had to see another person. I had to see that people stop putting that filter on their Facebook page that says, hey, this is going to be uncomfortable subject.
Mm-hmm.
You might not want to swipe. It would just, bam, I see Alt Sterling get shot. Bam, I see
Wait,
Fernando Castillo.
you can set a filter to what you see?
Yeah, it's basically hey, this is disturbing material.
Or unfollow certain folks.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I want to be inundated.
Well, so Shiam, who is a person that is heavily involved with the Syrian refugee crisis way back, she had an issue with that because she was posting things about what was happening in Syria, the bombing and whatnot, and a lot of folks were just like, I don't want to see this. Instead of taking the time to be like, hey, look, there's a reason why she's posting these things. She's not doing it because she has nothing else to do.
She's not trying to make you
Who
depressed.
is this?
Shiam, there was a person that I met in the Grassroots Islam group.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Whenever someone already has a political leaning to something, this is why I like to make sure I don't unfollow anybody, because I like to be inundated with other people's opinions often.
Not an echo bubble?
No,
so
I think you're one of a kind, right?
Yeah,
I think
you're Granny.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
It's
She is a gem. Okay, I'm gonna need you to dial it back. All right.
She's a gem. Yeah, go ahead. Applause.
But Steven, a lot of people do unfollow others, and that's why the best thing about social media is what we just discussed, right? Black Lives Matter. the Arab Spring, the covering of Hurricane Harvey, right, and the disaster relief that followed afterwards. But it does create echo chambers, where people, of course, are becoming more divided, right?
Yeah.
I think it's okay for you to unfollow something if you genuinely don't like it anymore. If you genuinely don't want to see, if you don't want to see another ad for something, or you don't want to see another post about the same thing, it's.
Well, I'm talking more like people. Like, I normally don't like pages like that, except for Total Medulla, like our page. For premium content.
But I mean, I strongly agree with you on the idea. Like, for instance, if you're a liberal and you only listen to liberal stuff, you're going to be one track mind.
Yeah.
It's good to look at something that's conservative and see, like, oh, you know what? They're saying this, but they're saying that. It's a good balance. It's good for you to see both sides.
What are the other people talking about?
Yeah.
What's important to them?
Especially if a story comes out and it's like, okay, now how they're going to tell this story and how are we going to tell this story?
Because you have you end up with an us-them kind of mentality.
Oh, yes.
When you don't do that, because it's just like, oh, they're just got this list of talking points. They just don't care about anything. They just want to control everybody.
They spent the whole time talking about this lady's hat. They're not going to talk about the message. That happens.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's good for you to see what other people think about what you care about.
So I do want to get into the second part of this conversation. You know, we got like a couple of minutes left in the show now. But, you know, should we kind of change our relationship with social media? And I want to expand that out to just the new technologies that are out today. Because the preferred way of communication nowadays is through text message or some type of instant messaging, right? Whether it be DMs or whatever. And there is a fallout when it comes to, but there is a fallout with people actually talking to each other in person and phone calls, right? Like I piss off a lot of folks sometimes. If they send me like 5 text messages, I give them a phone call. It's like, hey.
Oh, God, you're that guy.
What are you trying to say, man? Because we can knock this out so much faster in a phone call.
I talk to people all the time at work, and I feel bad because I can feel my inner millennial. I will avoid talking to anybody on the phone if I don't have to, because it takes a lot of time. It does.
Well, the focus.
Exactly.
Your focus is really where the issue, because with phone calls, half your focus is on the phone.
Exactly.
Whereas text messages maybe a fourth.
Well, I think it also has to do
my
with
email.
You can kind of run out of stuff to talk about on the phone, where text messages kind of stretch that conversation out. So, for instance, if you're talking to your mate late at night, you're in the whole bubblegum phase, or you're staying up talking, it's easy for you to run out of stuff to talk about, and y'all both just fall asleep sooner than you expected. Where text messages, there is a certain
but awkward silences. I don't know why people are so freaked out about awkward silence.
I'm not freaked out about it. It's just some people don't want to run out of stuff to talk about, because if you run out of stuff to talk about, then you seem boring. That's why people take so many pictures. That's why people say so many posts.
Okay.
That's why people can be considered boring, because they don't keep up their social media appearance, and they don't keep up their appearance. So that's why when I see people text, it's much easier to text, one, because now you have emojis, now you have GIFs or GIFs, whatever you want to call them. You have your memes. You have all these things you can share with a person to keep a conversation going much further than words. Because you can only say, "Hey, what you doing?" so many times, to where you show an emoji to show how you feel or what you did today.
Should that be a replacement of actual personal?
No, can't. You need both, because you'll always have to communicate. You'll always have to use your words, no matter how messed up we're messing. How many times we mess up the English language, shortening words and making all these abbreviations. Like later is L8R. Like it's crazy, but that's a thing now. So you have to follow the progression. And we have so many tools now with our phones and our tablets that allows us to do that. So keep
now, do you think people are experiencing the world, like the physical world, enough? Because nowadays, instead of actually going in and saying, hey, Steven, what's up, man? You can just look at Steven's profile on Facebook, pretty much get a catch up on his life.
Not really.
Trying to use that as an example.
I literally have the worst social media presidents ever.
Subtract
But I understand what you're saying.
Steven's name and put some other person's name in there.
Someone who's better.
Like if you want to see someone's hairstyle, most likely they'll post a picture of their new hairstyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, and on top of that, when it comes to going places, right? We're watching documentaries. We're looking at other people. Oh, I was here at the Great Wall. Do you think folks are experiencing the world in the physical realm as much as they were before?
I've been talking too much. Gerald, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. I think it would be a good thing for people to just go ahead and reduce the amount of social media that they use and consume, and just go ahead and try to reestablish real connections with real people.
Real connections.
Like honestly, I think yeah, real connections. Just sit down, talk with somebody, talk with your granny, talk with your girlfriend in person. Like don't
real connections with real people.
Exactly.
Sorry.
There we go. Real connection. But that's all I really had to say about that, because I feel that it just gives people like the ability to just kind of blow people off, like kind of what Devontae does a little bit. It gives people the ability to just that's what you do, dude. I mean, come on.
I'm busy. I'm working.
Like, yeah. It takes literally like half a second to just reply okay on your phone, and that's it.
So I know you're alive.
But
are you eating, Devontae? Yeah.
It's so funny if he replies, he's like, "Wait, Devontae, is there something wrong? You said okay. Is everything all right? Is this Devontae?"
What should be the most? Go ahead, Gerald.
No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you guys. What would you guys say would be when social media first came out? They advertised it as this medium that brings people together. I guess 7 or so years, well, actually more than 7 years, whatever the math is on that. Do you think that that's still the case? Does social media as its entirety, does it bring people together?
I think it does, but
absolutely not.
Here we go.
Just completely. I think it does, but it's up to the person to actually make the connection. For instance, we have all kinds of clubs now. We have all kinds of ways to see people where they are in the world, their global positioning.
Social groups.
You can meet people if you choose to. What social media does is mainly introduce you to people. It helps you find people that have the same similar interests that you have. It's up to you to say, hey, why don't we all come and play the game? Or, hey, why don't we all go and see this movie together?
Soda wasn't supposed to replace water.
Wait, what?
You're going to have to...
He's saying social media should not be the new way that we meet people. Shaking hands and meeting people in person should be the main way.
Soundbite for that
and
one.
it still can be.
I think I have a soundbite for you.
No, in all seriousness, it's just like when it comes down to it, there are certain things, like as we move together as a culture, and I say together because we're moving together, whether we have to drag you kicking and screaming, as we move on as a culture, like we're going to have more and more kind of like spare time, or our spare time is going to be used more efficiently to do more things, to reach out to each other and, somewhat distract each other a little bit more. And this is no different than like the 1700s when, people were handing out funny pamphlets and stuff like that. Like it is a part of our social evolution. We just got to learn how to use it.
Mohammed?
So Devontae and me were talking about this last night. Multitasking, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, we can multitask. Texting, watching TV, posting something on Facebook, but does that make us better at each of those individual tasks?
Absolutely not. Great example of that is texting while driving. There's so many people who, for some reason, they can't seem to just stop texting while in their vehicle driving.
That's illegal in Texas, by the way. Just letting you all know.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know that. It's illegal now.
There's so many examples of
like
folks
in motion,
in
motion, or like when you're at a red light.
I'm a stop sign texter. I will tell you that right now.
Okay, I'm that way too.
Well, if you're at a red light, your vehicle isn't moving. That's fine.
Okay, I've always wanted to clear that up because I've never texted while actually in motion.
I have. No. I'm the worst.
Yeah, I think we've all done it, but I think it's a way for you to just stop doing it. And especially after having kids, I stopped doing stuff like that. But I've always. The idea of you stopping at a stoplight and replying okay or I'll be there soon or you pulling up your GPS should be fine.
or calling somebody. Check that out. Hey, I can plug up my phone to my car and call you without having
What
to.
if your car is made in like, the mid 90s or something? You
40
probably
seconds.
can't, right?
Headphones.
40 seconds.
Look at this. So this is coming from a person that continually tries to drive time on this show.
I'm trying to help you
40
guys
seconds?
out.
Actually, this is ahead.
Yes.
I gave ourselves 5 minutes.
Yes.
What?
Don't try to do my job.
More talking.
Right. Yeah, Devontae, you messed up. Now he's about to like go in depth in something that isn't about the topic.
Check this guys out. All right, think about this. Think of how pictures have evolved over time on just on Facebook alone in our lifetimes. How all the pictures are no longer people in the corner, things in the background, because you're trying to see the picture that's behind them. It's more the person creeps more and more into the middle until they're at the Grand Canyon, but you can't see the Grand Canyon at all. You just see them going like.
What is this?
What?
The alarm
The
sense.
alarm, shut up, Steve. That's
Exactly. It's the
That's
Shut Up
good.
Steven alarm. I got that
Right on time.
time.
Right on time.
I got one
That's
step
the
every
show,
5
folks.
seconds.
Did you guys notice that?
I mean, I've noticed the fact that like the people in the picture are more important than wherever they are.
And that's why when we talked about vanity, that was a really good idea because it's like, what's more important here? Is it the actual scenery or just you are saying, hey, I got it like that. I was over here.
Dude, I've been in cars driving between like Louisiana and Texas and just taking pictures of like the side of like the road and like look at that grass, look at the trees. Like I'm not, hey, look at me in the grass and the trees.
Right.
So
While you're driving.
Daddy, don't do it. Yeah. Like I don't care about me in the picture. Like it'd have to be me next to like a statue or something like that. Like that's one thing.
So
But
where it makes
you-
sense,
like you can take a picture of the sunset and just be the sunset.
So with the final thoughts here, I want you guys to each, answer this question. What is the most efficient use of social media? I'm going to start with Gerald Jarman, just in case I forget.
Oh, God.
So, Gerald, go ahead.
Yeah. I guess just reconnecting with people and I guess kind of maintaining like friendships, connecting with family members, things like that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of use I find for it.
What about you, Muhammad?
I agree with Gerald. I think it's a good platform to get connected, to as a first point of contact, right? But I don't think it should ever replace the personal interaction humans should tend to have, right? Face to face.
Right.
Yeah.
Kyle?
I do believe it's a great way to see opinions from people you'll probably never meet, or ideas, or situations, or places you'll never go, or environments that you'll never get to interact with. I do believe there are lots of dangers and pitfalls with social media, and it's easy to fall into those traps. But I believe that if you have the perfect mindset, which a lot of people don't have, then you could kind of navigate through most of the BS or most of the things that can be harmful. And like Gerald said, find social people you can be social with, whether it be family, friends, or strangers that you did not know you had things in common with.
I think it's a great way to just keep tabs with people. You have a limited amount of time in your day. You can't see every person that you love,
Absolutely.
let alone the casual acquaintances that you meet. You just can't get to the point where, and this is the trap I've fallen into, where you forget to talk to the person.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I saw your Facebook picture. It's like, oh, I thought you didn't like me anymore. I'm like, why? It's like, you haven't spoken to me in like 2 years. And you realize to yourself, I haven't spoken to this person in 2 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's that type of thing that's so dangerous. But it's both great that we can see that person and see what's going on in their lives, but we also got to remember to touch them.
Yeah.
Like in some way.
Oh, okay, Weinstein, take it easy.
I'm going to steal one of Kyle's talking points that he said earlier. And before I leave, make sure I get this to Kyle.
As long as you get the applause, you can steal whatever you want.
No, he had this really good point. He said that social media should be kind of like the introduction, right? It's like your gateway to other people, but like you should still physically meet these folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Or at least find a closer a medium
Yeah.
to kind of talk to. I mean, it should be just an introductory phase, or just like a, hey, my foot in the door.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Facebook or social media is the hand out, but it's up to you to grab that hand and get pulled
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
So connecting with different folks, meeting different people, but ultimately going and actually physically meeting these folks.
Like, you shouldn't condemn it because you have the option to not use it. It's not in your bloodstream. It's not in your homes. You bring it into your home and you hook it up yourself.
Yeah.
That's your choice.
And nowadays you have so much control.
Way more.
You have a whole bunch of control. You can control who you listen to, who you don't.
Who sees this, who sees what you post, who sees what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
you can make things
crazy.
public, private. I mean, so there's so much. I mean, I tried to explain this to my grandmother because she's not a big fan of it. And I was just like, well, you have the power to shape it in whatever way you want.
It's not for everyone though.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, some people they won't get it. So.
Well, we appreciate you guys being on the show today, and for those listening on Thursdays at the Afro Vibes Radio Houston app, salutations, along with the other social places like
What?
YouTube and whatnot. We have a poll question, and that question is, what are you going to do with social media? And I just made that question up because we actually didn't make one. So
Send us emails, comment, subscribe.
Send us some pics too.
You know how good comments make me feel.
We want some pics.
You should do that. Totally.
yeah, so how do you use social media? That's going to be the poll question. I just made it up just now. Well, let us know what you guys think.
You don't have to say that. You can just say it. Like,
You could just say hi. Like,
Yeah.
I like when people say hi.
This show is about honesty. We got to be honest with folks. Oh, speaking of honesty, there was one person from Germany that sent an email saying, I thought the show was live, and the show is recorded live.
you stop. No.
The magic. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Screw all that noise. But we're going to get there, and we're also going to have some phone calls in the future, too, so you guys will actually be able to call in and actually bicker at us if you chose to. That's going to be exciting.
Sounds fun.
They will now. Thanks.
Stay safe, guys. Love you guys.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Salutations. Thank you for listening to another episode of Medulla Talk on Afro Vibes Radio Houston. Join the Medulla community at totalmedulla.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Total Medulla.